Welcome to Speaking of Schaumburg. I'm Village President Al Larson. In this episode, we'll be joined by Carol Brown, Director of Shelter Inc. Then we'll talk to Matt Frank from the Schaumburg's Economic Development Department. We'll close out the program by talking with Rob Pileckis from the Prairie Center for the Arts. All of this and more today here on Speaking of Schaumburg. Shelter Inc. is a charity organization dedicated to helping and protecting children who are abused, neglected, dependent, or in need of supervision. Here to tell us more is Director of Development, Carol Brown. Well, welcome to Speaking of Schaumburg, Carol.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Yes. Tell me about Shelter.
Shelter is a child welfare agency. We're based in Arlington Heights, and we've been providing services to the northwest suburbs since 1975 through 3 group homes. One is our Jennings home right here in Schaumburg that is provided to us through the village, and we are deeply appreciative.
Well, it's a great facility.
Well, it is a great facility, and lots of girls go through there and receive care that they need at very, very critical times in their lives. And it's an emergency facility. The girls generally stay 2 to 3 weeks. The boys' group home is in Palatine. It's like the Jennings home for girls. It's for boys, and that's also an emergency facility.
What's the age group?
Generally around 12 to 17.
Okay.
And then we have another program, another group home, our transitional living, and that's in Arlington Heights for older adolescent boys, 17 through 21, and they can stay for several years, and we work with them to help them to see what the future is going to bring. From the time they come in, we say, okay, what are you going to do when you leave? Is it going to be a vocational program, a community college, and we help them to find dollars to finance that or a job. And we've had great success. That program started in 1996.
Yes, my wife was involved in that, Nancy. She making certain that group home landed in Schaumburg.
Thank you.
Oh, it's quite welcome.
We are deeply appreciative. I think our Jennings home opened in '83 because I came to Shelter in '85, and I think Jennings. And I remember I've been told that Chuck Gowdy came out with his news crew for the 10 o'clock news when the home opened.
Okay.
It was a great opportunity for Shelter to serve an underserved population of adolescent girls.
Now you have an event coming up.
We do, and it's 3 weeks from Friday, our 29th, I believe it is. It's our 29th annual charity ball, and it's held right here in Schaumburg at the Hyatt Regency Schaumburg, Chicago on Gulf Road. And the proceeds will help us to care for the children either through our 3 group homes, as we just talked about, or through our 3 networks of foster care. Our emergency foster care, which generally is up to 40 days, and then in the early 90s, we expanded that to home of relative as well as traditional when there wouldn't be a relative who would be willing to take that child in. And those 2 programs are longer term.
How many kids do you transition? I mean, typically.
Well, probably through our group homes, probably about 100. And I think in foster care, we've got around probably between 50 and 60. And the emergency facility started, that's how the agency began in 1975. And as the time went on, we noticed that there were some children that needed to stay longer, and we really weren't set up for that, although the welfare of the child comes first, all else is secondary. So there was one young adolescent who came to the Jennings home, and she was severely beaten by her father, who broke her jaw, and we accepted responsibility.
There's police intervention there.
Yes, we work with all the police departments for referrals, as well as schools and churches and community groups. And she stayed with us probably for close to 6 months. And then when she went on to a longer-term facility, it was Christmas the next month, and they said, Katia, and I'm just using a name.
Sure.
We always protect the confidentiality of our clients. And it was Christmas time, and they said, well, what would you like for Christmas? And she said, just one thing, a visit by our shelter moms. And they did.
Nice.
They came out to visit her. And I wanted to go back to the charity ball because this year especially, it's so important to us that the Illinois state budget created grave financial consequences for many agencies, and Shelter was no different. It was a very, very difficult year, and you were so supportive in so many ways, Mayor Larson. So I want to take the time to say thank you.
Well, thank you for the wonderful work you do.
Well, thank you. And so this is our one event of the year. We do others, but this is our event where we really, really depend on the support of the community. And anybody can come. We sell tables or we sell individual tickets.
How much are tickets?
The tickets for an individual are $300, and tables are $3,000, and then there's a $5,000, and then there's a $7,000. And
how many people do you anticipate?
This year we're expecting record numbers. I would say we probably maybe have close to 300.
Okay.
And again, it's going to be right here in Schaumburg, and we have the Elmhurst College Jazz Band, which is made up of students, and they have come out probably for about 10 or 11 years, and they do a great job. We receive very positive feedback, and we have a live auction, a silent auction. We have a raffle where folks can choose one of our live auction items. They go on our website, which is www.shelter-inc.org at probably about a week before the ball. So let's say maybe about the 12th of November, and you purchase a raffle ticket, they're $100, and then you can choose, if you win, one of the live auction prizes, which...
You have some tremendous prizes there, I know.
We do. We've got some great prizes, yes. And Barb Mazurski, our special events coordinator, is working very hard putting them together this year. And we're hoping for record attendance because this year, more than ever, we need the support of the community because, again, we have been affected by the budget impasse. And we're very proud to say that we're also a United Way agency.
Okay, well, that's good. That's good. So tell me some more about some of the programs that the shelter has initiated.
Well, the one program that I hadn't mentioned, and I'm glad you asked, is our Healthy Families Child Abuse Prevention Program for first-time at-risk parents. And that program started in 1996. And we wrote a grant to Northwest Community Hospital in Arlington Heights, and they liked it, because we were able to reach out to the community and provide services and reduce the cost in the emergency room. This way, our workers can go into the hospital, screen patients, and it's voluntary. So if someone is introduced to the program, they accept it, we can work with them and their child, their baby, for the first 5 years of life. And that program started in 1996 as a result of Hawaii's Healthy Start program, which began in the early 90s. And the goal of that program was to reduce the number of reported child abuse cases. And as a result, because it was so successful, after the first year, 80% reduction, which is pretty amazing. It was replicated throughout the U.S., and it came to Illinois. I think there were about 35 or 40 programs in the U.S., and it came to Illinois, and I think we were one of 9. And the program started in 1996, continues today. We also partner with Alexian Brothers Hospital in Elk Grove Village, as well as St. Alexis and Hoffman Estates. We've been able to expand our partner hospitals to serve the needs. And we had one woman who came to the program, and she was from Colombia, and her husband was an American citizen. He was in Colombia visiting. They met, he brought her back, they married, and she became pregnant. And she accepted the services through Northwest Hospital. And it was a sad situation because she didn't speak the language. She was isolated. She had no friends, relatives, and her husband kept her totally isolated, did not allow any assimilation whatsoever. And when we...
Give me a number people can call if they want to volunteer.
It's 847-255-8060.
And that'll be on the screen.
Oh, okay. And Mary Green is our volunteer coordinator, and she's at extension 22.
Thank you. Thank you. Schaumburg is the largest center of economic activity in the state of Illinois outside the city of Chicago. Learn more next here on Speaking of Schaumburg. Schaumburg brings in a daytime population estimated at 150,000 people. Here to tell us more about Schaumburg's newest businesses is Matt Frank, Schaumburg's Economic Development Director. Matt, what is your real title rather than the one I just...
Economic Development Manager, and then I also serve as Assistant Director for Community Development. So 2 hats, but it's all good.
2 hats, 1 head.
Yeah, right. Got to juggle, right?
Tell me what's happening on the Jane Addams Tollway with that space program.
The beautiful new building there that opened up.
Yes, right.
So we're very excited that Zurich's new headquarters opened up in the last month, and the remaining 1,000 employees are moving in at the end of October. So they'll be completely transitioned with all 3,000 people into that gorgeous facility. Zurich and Getch and Clayco did a fantastic job of designing and building that. So it's a very iconic structure, very environmentally friendly. They got LEED Platinum designation. So it's a great start to the North Schaumburg TIF and hopefully a launch of some redevelopment opportunities out there.
How's our convention center doing?
Convention Center in its 10th year is doing very, very well. Their sales are hitting levels that they hit right after they opened. So they continue to attract new shows and events. I think this past weekend they had the Windy City Ski and Snow Show.
Yeah, I saw the full page ad in the Herald. Yeah.
So they had billboards all over the Chicago region promoting that. So the Marriott and Renaissance team have done a great job of bringing business to the northwest suburbs and Schaumburg. So
there's a car auction show.
Yeah, the Mecum auction. So we saw all sorts of fancy Corvettes, Mustangs, trucks, and BMWs, and every type of make and model a couple weeks ago. So that attracts investors from all over the Midwest who come and try and bid on some great, fantastic vehicles. So fills our hotel rooms, helps our restaurants, and hopefully our retail opportunities as well.
And what's happening on Meacham Road with all those restaurants that are opening up?
Over the past 4 years or so, we've seen quite the surgence of new restaurant developments along Meacham Road. The most recent, we've seen some initial construction activity just across from Costco in Westwood. That's PDQ and Miller's Ale House are being proposed there. PDQ is a chicken sandwich shop. The founder of Outback actually is creating this and launching it. Will be one of the first in the Chicago market. And the Miller's Ale House is another sports bar, serves American food, which would be a nice sit-down option for visitors and our residents.
Is that where the Baptist Press was located?
Right. It used to be the General Baptist Press that had been there for many, many years, but obviously it's a prime commercial site, so the developer came in and bought that and is bringing those 2 restaurants plus Andigo. It's a financial institution, used to be formerly the Motorola Credit Union. So they've launched a new operation to set up a banking facility there, and then they also moved their corporate headquarters into the Schaumburg Corporate Center. So they're making a big investment here in town, and we're appreciative. Yeah, with this new TIF district that we implemented in 2014, Zurich was a key win. Sunstar was also another great success, moving out of Chicago and setting up their beautiful 300,000 square foot headquarters here in Schaumburg. Also within the TIF district, we have our first apartment development in over 20 years. So this North 680 is being developed by Urban Street Group. They are marketing towards the young professionals and those people who work in the area. So we'll see some nice new apartments that'll be higher rents and hopefully help the other residential developments in the area. What's also interesting is that Urban Street Group is the one who bought the Motorola property. So we've been in discussions with them and trying to lay a framework plan of how do we coordinate development of portions of the Motorola campus and bring in different mixed uses and corporate and hospitality and residential. So exciting things to come within that area.
Harley Davidson has a presence now in Schaumburg, is that correct?
Harley Davidson doing their show at the convention center, yeah.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, so...
There are a lot of Harley fans out there.
Yeah, there are. So Lisa Timbo, the former general manager of the Renaissance, she worked very hard with her sales team to kind of steal that one from Milwaukee, which, Harley is very synonymous with Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So we were able to help attract a new show down here. And so, yes, I know members of our village board, and as well as our residents, hopefully we'll be able to take advantage of the Harley show coming to the Renaissance Schaumburg.
When is that?
It's coming up in a couple months, so yeah,
A couple months.
stay tuned.
Residential development at the intersection of Schaumburg and Rizzo Road. Talk to me about that.
So that Pleasant Square development there on the northwest corner, MI Homes is wrapping that up. They've done a fantastic job, and it's sold very, very well. You see the sign, they're asking $300,000 and up. So it's about 150 units there. We're actually in the works for them to allow further expansion north towards the Baptist Bethel Church there. They're going to do a land swap, and so you'll see that parking lot transformed into more row homes as we realign Bethel Lane to better coordinate with Roselle Road and get a signal in there. So they're not quite done yet, so we'll see a few more units there. And then MI also took up the Waterbury homes on the south side of Schaumburg, just east of Lou Malnati's. If you go down a half a block or so, you'll see that new development going up, so about 16 units there. Again, they're selling very, very well, so there is quite the demand to be in Schaumburg from new residents and those looking to relocate within the community.
Applebee's, so what's happening with that? It's my understanding it's a little dueling going on between rival pancake houses.
Yeah, the brothers of Walker Brothers are going to be in competition shortly, so we're excited, that Ray Walker is investing in the community. So they're finally under construction. So the hope is they'll be open by the end of the year, so you can dine at Richard Walker's up the street one day and take Sunday and do Ray Walker's. But from everybody I talked to in Town Square and nearby, they're very excited about having another a breakfast option in the market. So Ray Walker's, he's doing some remodeling. So they've torn out the bar in Applebee's. They'll do a nice seating area, and if you've been to the other Ray Walkers, they're all very, very nice, and so it'll be a great option for our folks.
Now, what's happening with Easy Street?
Unfortunately, Jerry Truffles passed away, and so we've been working with the family to try and find another user there to hopefully reinvigorate that. That's been an institution in our community for decades, so it needs a little bit of tender, loving care. So we're working with a broker to try and find the right user there to hopefully transform it and make it vibrant again.
And what's happening with the Hyatt?
Hotels are very hot in Schaumburg. We'll be up to 30, but some of our existing hotels have gone through some massive transformations and renovations. So we've been working with the First Equity Group who purchased that property. They've owned it now for over a year. So they've invested heavily in remodeling and renovating. So all their meeting room space, new carpeting. They just started on the lobby space, so they'll be transforming that into a much more exciting entrance. So that's one of our older full-service hotels, so it's nice to see them putting money and making it competitive. They are out in the market trying to find restaurants to take the living room space that used to be the Hot Nightclub, and they're also looking at some development pad opportunities for other users. So we're excited and happy to work with those folks.
What about across the street from Woodfield, from the Hyatt?
We have a developer, Shorewood, who's done some development along Meacham Road. He brought On the Border and Beer Market and the Starbucks were just south of the fire station. So he's interested in an outlot right by Firestone that's owned by JCPenney's. So he's proposing some additional restaurants and uses there. So staff is working with him and Simon, Woodfield Mall, to study and assess the parking impact that might have, but it could be an opportunity to bring even more retail and restaurant options to Schaumburg.
How about Streets of Woodfield? How are they doing?
They're doing very well occupancy-wise. They're getting very close to replacing Wickets. They have a letter of intent from a confidential restaurant user there.
You're not going to tell us who it is?
Unfortunately, I can't. I'm bound by their broker. Until the contract's signed, we can't announce that, but it'll be a nice user.
What's the vacancy rate over there?
It's less than 5% there. So
that's similar to
Woodfield Mall and Woodfield Village Green. Yeah, we're fortunate our big three centers continue to do very, very well and attract tenants. It's been great.
We could go on like this for quite some time,
sure.
man.
Yeah,
there's all kinds of things taking place in Schaumburg. Very positive, very positive.
Yeah.
And you guys do a great job.
Thank you. Well, it's a great community to work for, and it's fun to sell.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mayor. Good to see you.
Thanks for being here. The Prairie Center for the Arts will have all you need to get into the holiday spirit. Learn more next here on Speaking of Schaumburg. Holiday shows are an annual tradition for many families. Here to tell us more about upcoming events at the Prairie Center is production supervisor Rob Pileckis. Welcome to Speaking of Schaumburg.
Thank you, Mayor Larson.
Tell me, Rob, what are you doing here?
Well, I ask myself that every day when I come in. Well, as you know, we are
holiday spirit. That's holiday spirit.
We are filled with holiday cheer every year at the Prairie Center, and of course, the biggest event we have is the Nutcracker. Huge event. It's the Schaumburg Dance Ensemble, which is comprised of area student dancers, adults, a core of professional dancers, about 100 people in the cast total, and it plays for 2 weekends starting December 2nd at the Prairie Center. And it's a magnificent production. It's been going on since 1995, and just stick to the cliche, it keeps getting better. The choreography is wonderful. Michelle Holzman is the artistic director of it, and it's just a great show. Fully costumed. The sets are beautiful, and you've got the Tchaikovsky's music, and it's great for families because it's in the Prairie Center, which is a small venue, and it has narration, which a lot of Nutcrackers don't have. We have a narrator who kind of helps guide the story along with the younger audiences. So it's a great show, and it sells out, so people should get their tickets pretty fast.
How many shows?
We have 10 performances starting December 2nd. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 1 on Friday, and then 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday, and then the second weekend in December. So
I think it's important to stress that about selling out because you sold out last year.
We sold out last year, and that's not going to stop. I think people are finding that we're a viable alternative to going into the city to sing, to paying, $100 or $200 to see a show downtown. We can come to the Prairie Center, park for free.
There's also a Christmas show that hangs.
We have another holiday show there, the Schaumburg Youth Symphony Orchestra. Near and dear to my heart, I know near and dear to your heart. The symphony has been performing around for the village since 1989, and since 1999 they've been putting on a holiday program, and it sometimes has guest artists, it has narration, but the real crux of it are these 70 plus high school and some college students who play like a professional orchestra, and it's beautiful music. You have some classical pieces. They might do some Tchaikovsky, they might do some Rimsky-Korsakov, but they also do like Leroy Anderson's Sleigh Ride or some more pop things. But the other nice element about our shows that we've introduced in the last couple of years is the introduction of a choir. We have the Schaumburg Youth Choir, who recently performed for the Chicago Bulls at a game at United Center downtown, and they are coming back to perform with the orchestra, and they are now being joined by our brand new Schaumburg Youth Children's Chorus. And we've got 30 kids in this.
What's the age group?
Wonderful. Their grades, I believe it's like 3 through 7. So younger group. They're the feeder group into the choir. And they have such beautiful tones, and they sound so wonderful. So we're going to introduce them into the concert as well. And you'll have the children's chorus, the youth choir, and the orchestra performing together in a couple pieces. So it's going to be a rich new sound.
And what will you be doing, Rob?
I don't know yet. Sometimes I just enjoy I watch it. Sometimes I play a more active role in it, like you have in the past.
Yes, well, I won't admit to
it. No, and I think that's a good thing, politically speaking, that you shouldn't do that. But it's, we like to put a little fun into the show. Maybe something in between the numbers, just to kind of keep the ball rolling. Keep the audience engaged, and also just to kind of generate that holiday spirit. And by the time people leave, they just feel
uplifted.
Yeah, it is, and it's just beautiful music, and
you even have the village board singing Christmas carols.
And we have the village board singing Christmas carols. This is at the holiday tree lighting ceremony. It's the Friday after Thanksgiving, and it starts out on the plaza. Weather permitting, we'll sing Christmas carols outside. If not, we'll go inside the Prairie Center lobby and sing them. But we'll start out, it's in the evening. I believe the tree lighting, the lighting starts at 6:30. But beforehand, we'll sing some Christmas carols, and then a special...
Santa arrives.
Well, I was going to say a special visitor. I didn't want to.
Oh, well,
didn't want to blow it. But now you said it, because this is a big selling point. Santa does arrive, and not just he doesn't just show up. He arrives in Schaumburg style.
And that would be?
And that would be on a fire truck with sirens blaring and the lights and everything. And the kids get a big kick out of that. So he shows up, and we have a beautiful tree every year. I think you probably know where the tree comes from each year.
No,
the
I
holiday
don't.
tree?
No, I
Is
don't.
it donated? Is it?
I think they've had offers of donations, but certainly it's decorated by kids from the school district.
It is. We accept ornaments up until the tree lighting, where area schools and scout troops and whatever get to add.
There's also a seasonal ornament too, isn't there?
So, and there is a seasonal ornament. Yeah, we've been having these holiday ornaments, commemorative ornaments, commemorating landmarks of Schaumburg for at least 7-8 years now, and they're beautiful. Hand painted, I believe. And this one depicts our own village grounds and two of our residents, who are Louis and Serena.
Who are Louis and Serena?
Louis and Serena. You may have heard of them. You may have seen them around. They're the two swans that live on the pond, on the lake, on the grounds, and it's just a little setting. The ornament's $17. They can buy it at the Prairie Center. It's a pretty ornament. It's a wonderful addition to the ornament collection that we've done.
Now, when Santa arrives, what happens?
Well, when Santa shows up, so he gets off the fire truck, he shows up, and I think he does get some technical assistance in lighting the tree.
Yes. We count
someone with the switch.
Count to three, and
we throw the switch.
And
it's a beautiful tree. It's a wonderful thing. Everyone kind of stands around it, lights the tree, and then we go inside the Prairie Center where there's live entertainment. Again, the Schaumburg Youth Choir, the Schaumburg Children's Chorus will be performing holiday carols. Santa takes his seat on the stage inside the Prairie Center, so it looks very majestic, very grand for Santa. And the kids can talk to him. I think we have refreshments. I think there's other entertainment. It's a really lovely, and it really is just has such a nice community feel.
There's a balloon artist too.
There's a balloon artist who can twist, any animal I think you want. It's what a
Guy
town
on
should
stilts.
do. A guy on stilts, if he can stay up there. I don't know how they do it.
I don't either.
It's not my job, so I don't worry about it. But it's a really nice event. I mean, it's you have Schaumburg is a town of what, 75,000 people, and you have something that has this wonderful small town feel to it, and very very community oriented event, and it's just a really nice and popular. People
Oh yes.
come early for Santa.
That's true.
So
That's
it's a nice alternative to going to maybe some retail outlet to see him. I think it's a real nice break. So the Prairie Center, we have entertainment year round. Okay, and we did have a performance that sold out as our lecture hall series, Remembering Marshall Fields at Christmas. Do you have any memories of Fields?
Yeah, I'm getting ditched by my fellow classmates when we went downtown.
Seriously?
Oh yes. Oh yes.
I'm looking for the warm, fuzzy feelings, not something like that. All right. Leslie Goddard, who's a lecturer who performs throughout the state regionally, does this presentation. She's wonderful, and she talks about Fields years ago as during Christmas time. You got the windows, you have the walnut room, again Santa Claus. It really is. Really memorable. The 2 p.m. show, it's on Sunday, November 27th. Our 2 o'clock show sold out like that. So we added a 4 o'clock show, and I think those are going to go fast too. So people should look into the 4 p.m. show for the Remembering Fields on the 27th.
Okay.
Some
Anything
great
else,
stuff.
Rob?
I think I'm done.
Closing?
Thanks for having me here.
Stick a fork in you, you're done.
I'd stick a fork in me. I'm so done.
That'll do it for this edition of Speaking of Schaumburg. Join us again next month for an all-new episode. Until then, I'll see you around town.